I get. Okay, so before we get into the next film, I wanted to mention something that is relevant to this series that I haven't yet, and that is that war was very good for Hollywood. So during the war, obviously there's restrictions on certain things, there's production issues. We've all lived through COVID, so we're familiar with that. One of the things was restrictions on raw film stock. So studios were forced to scale back production, right? So they scale back productions, the big five studios. On average, before that, we're making about 50 films per year. They scale it back to 30. Um, what they cut is mainly the B pictures, and they focus more on the A pictures. They focus on the big spectacles, the things that'll drive audiences to the theater. The government is wanting something to distract people from the war. People are wanting something to distract them. Studios, of course, are more than happy to oblige. So B pictures that are cut, not what you might think of as like B movies. There's no Jerry Seinfeld. Um, B pictures at the time were more like, to use a sports analogy, it's like the minor leagues, right? So unproven talent would go work in the B pictures, see how audiences responded, see what the product was like, see if the studios were happy with it. If they were, if audiences liked you, you get promoted to the A pictures. You could become an A-list celebrity. So your A's and your B's, there's your alphabet lesson. So they focus more on the A's, but also a third of films produced during this time have to do with the war. So as much as people are looking for a distraction, they also want to feel connected, and they probably want to get some of that anxiety out through film. It's like people watching Contagion during COVID. It's a little bit of that, I think. So from 43 to 46 is a peak period for Hollywood. They make out like gangbusters. I wanted to address that. So let's get into the film. Doesn't come out during that period. Originally released August 5th, 1953. It is From Here to Eternity. So first you go from here to eternity, then you go to infinity and beyond. Once you're beyond, hopefully you're beyond the Thunderdome. If not, you need a map. Anyways, From Here to Eternity, based on a novel by James Jones. James Jones had a couple other of his works adapted for film. There's The Thin Red Line was adapted twice. Most recently, a Terrence Malick film that all your favorite celebrities are in, even if they don't make it to the final cut. And what is the other one? Some Came Running, released in '58, also stars Frank Sinatra. The title, From Here to Eternity, comes from a Rudyard Kipling poem. Rudyard Kipling, author of The Jungle Book. The poem is about soldiers losing their way. So that's kind of a theme in play in this film. Mainly focuses on three soldiers who are stationed in army barracks in Hawaii prior to Pearl Harbor. Their lives, complications in their lives, and then Pearl Harbor happens towards the end of the film and a little bit of the aftermath. The cast includes Burt Lancaster, Montgomery Clift, Deborah Kerr, who am I forgetting here? Donna Reed, and Frank Sinatra. So Frank Sinatra, prior to this, was in a bit of a career decline, both his singing career and in film. Mostly prior to this, appeared in musicals, lighter fare. This is more serious, serious topic, serious film, serious character. Not really something that Sinatra was really known for prior to this, so the studio, the producers, had apprehensions about casting him. So, if you've seen The Godfather, or even if you haven't, there's the subplot in The Godfather about the Italian singer that wants to be in a Hollywood film. Producers don't want to cast him. The mafia, the mobsters, use their powers of persuasion to get him cast in that film. In The Godfather, one of the things they do to persuade that producer is the horse head in the bed. So even if you haven't seen The Godfather, you may have seen that scene, or you may have seen it parodied. That is reportedly based on the mafia trying to help Sinatra get cast in this film. Whether or not it's true, who's to say? Go ask your local mobster. Ask nicely. Maybe he'll tell you. So there's a lot of adult themes in this film, in the book, and of course they had trouble getting that into the film because they are actually filming on the actual army barracks. The army has a say of what goes on in the film. They don't want them looking bad, and as per usual, there's the Hays Code, moral police saying what can and cannot happen in your film. There are a lot of things in the book like adultery, like hysterectomies, STIs, abortions, those type of things that they're not really wanting to put in the film. The screenplay is done by Daniel Tatarash, and he has said that a lot of stuff sneaks by in this film that I'm surprised for this time, and the code and what isn't making it into other films that makes it into this one. But Daniel says that he thinks a lot of that came with the fact that the Army and the people at the production code, the Hays Code, liked his script and thought it was a good story, so he got away with a lot. This film has a little bit of eroticism. Even if you haven't seen it, you might have seen the scene or the image from the film of Burt Lancaster and Deborah Kerr on the beach, embracing with the waves coming up. It's a little erotic. And that might have been one of the reasons that the film was a big hit. So, it had about a $2 million budget, brings in about $30.5 million at the box office, and is nominated for 13 Academy Awards. Obviously, we're talking about it because it wins Best Picture. It wins 8 awards. Donna Reed, who also the studio was apprehensive about casting, wins, and so does Frank Sinatra. Boon to his career, he goes on to have more serious roles. He's in Otto Preminger's The Man with the Golden Arm. Man with the Golden Arm, not a James Bond movie. It's about heroin. Also in The Manchurian Candidate. And then the director wins Best Director. That's another theme with these movies, that Best Director usually coincides, at least in this time, with Best Picture. The director of the film is, Fred Zinnerman. Fred Zinnerman was nominated 10 times in his career, with 3 wins. So, another name that I had to look down to see, right? So audiences today might not be aware of who he is, but he was popular at the time. Yeah, that's about it. AFI. I mentioned AFI in some of the other films. So American Film Institute had their 1998 and 2000 lists of the 100 greatest films. I didn't clarify that before. AFI in 98, this film was the 52nd best film, according to AFI. But it was not on the 2007 list. So it went from here to... Anyways, that's it for this one. Hit like, hit subscribe, tell all your friends. Thanks.